Hey everybody, it's TRAKing Pat here, and in this video I'm going to actually have to use the offline system, so I'm going to make the video from my PC. However, just to give you an idea, I wanted to let you know what we're doing, so we're going to switch over in a second to my PC. I'm going to show you how all the DXF functions work. Hopefully you'll love what you're about to see, so get ready. Alright, so as you can see, you are looking at the screen of my laptop. And this is the KMX offline, and the reason we're using the offline is because we're going to show how the DXF converter works, and that is not available in the actual KMX control. So if you want to have this option, you will also have to have the option of offline programming, which gives you some extra added benefits, like it can do 2-axis or 3-axis. Also, you can sit down and program. Also, you can program while somebody else is using the machine, so there's a lot of benefits for a little bit of money. What you are going to notice that's a little bit different here is the fact that in the lower right hand corner it has the button to switch it back and forth from 2 to 3 axis. But what we're going to do is push check system just like you would normally in the machine. So you just follow my mouse and you'll know everything I'm doing. So here it's asking me to select a mode, and I'm going to go straight to program in and out. I should tell you that in order to use the offline, you've still got to have a USB stick with a folder on it that says KMX programs, because that's where it's going to look to find your program. So that's where you would put your DXF files. So in my case, I'm going to say open, and then you see everything that's on my stick right now. And because we've done this before, I'm going to use the ballpark DXF because it'll be a little easier to follow along. So I'm just going to click on that, push open, and now you'll see there's my electronic file or my DXF file of the ballpark. And one of the nice things in the way that these things work is that they are put together in layers. So I can actually hide the things that I don't need, such as the dimensions and the border, and strip it down to just the geometry. The next thing I would do is push continue. And in here it's asking me if I would like to close any lines that have a gap that's bigger than 5 thousandths. You can adjust this number, but generally you don't have to, so I would just say yes. And now I'm looking at the part, and it is asking me to tell the machine where is part 0. So I have the choice of 2 intersections of lines and arcs, or closest endpoints, or the center of a circle. Since I did the programming most of the time from the center of this pocket, I'm going to click on C. You'll see it highlights, and now you can see the red emblem that's showing me where part 0 is. You'll also notice that as I move my mouse, it knows where I am. So when I press continue, it's asking me now whether I want to add anything to this particular geometry. So I'm going to add a new point, because a lot of times when I'm programming something like this, I'd like to have a place where I can start off of the part. And I might even want to have a place where I want to walk off the part at the end so I don't leave any tool marks. So that's the way that new point works. Hide line just allows me to double click on anything, it'll disappear, right? Add a line will put a line between 2 points that I choose. Inquire geometry will tell me where and what the size is of something I did. So you notice in the bottom it says this is a 1/4 inch hole, and it tells you the location. So once I've got that all done, I simply press continue again. This puts me in the programming mode, and it's basically asking me, like the control is, what do you want to do first? So I'm going to say I want to do some drilling. There's no bolt hole pattern because you just simply click on whichever holes you want to do and in whatever order you want to do them. Okay? So as I highlight each of the holes, when I'm finished highlighting, up here on the upper right hand corner there's a button that says event. When I click on event, you see what you would see on the control. So it's saying, I know where the X and Y is. What tool are you using? I'm going to use tool number 1. Notice here it says all OK, and they're all green. So it says, all right, I'm going to continue that through all 5 of those holes. Click the event key again to get back into programming. I'm going to tell it I want to make a pocket. It's going to ask whether I want to chain because it doesn't know the shape of the pocket. I'm going to say no this time because it's just one entity, which is a circle. So that highlights the circle. I switch back to the event at the top. Come down to the first question it doesn't know, which is direction. Just like in the machine, 2 is counterclockwise. Want to leave it 10 thousandths finish cut. Put in my feed rate, my finish feed rate, and my second tool. Again, everything turns green. I hit the event key to get out. Now I want to do a profile. It's asking if I want to chain. This time I'm going to say yes. I'm going to start with the new piece that I added, click on that, and then click the next piece in whatever direction I'm going, and you'll see that it connected all the lines together. From there, I'm going to go back to Event, come down to Tool Offset, tell it I want the tool on the left, leave my finish cut again, use my same feed rates, my same tool number, and at that point when I get out, I can say that I want to end this DXF. So when I press End DXF, it asks me if I'm sure. I'm going to say yes, I am. And from there, it puts me back at the main screen. If I was to go to program mode now, you would see that just like I did it by hand, if I go to beginning, these are going to be all of my different events. The bolt hole pattern is going to be 5 separate holes. There's my circle pocket. There's my irregular profile with all the information I would normally put in to program it. Also, you have all the other features that you normally would have, so I could go into the setup mode. I could set up my tool table, tell it the size of my tools, tell it which tools they are, like so. I can hit return, I can go to tool path, it'll show me tool path. There is one other thing that's a little bit different. When you use verify part, now that I have the power that's inside of my machine here, I can define the stock again, which is normal. All right, so I'm saying my part is minus a ½ inch. And from there, when I go to verify part and make part, this time it's going to show you the whole process of what it's doing when it makes it, okay? And you can slow that down and speed it up, or you can just simply do it more than once and you'll see that it happens pretty quickly. So it is nice to have the ability to not just see the completed part, but to see the process of how it's going to make it. Once I'm done with this, the only thing I would have left to do would be to say, yes, I want to exit out of here. I'd go back to my program in and out mode, and I would save this program, and it'll automatically save it as ballpark.pt4, which is the same thing that'll run in your machine. So then you would take your USB stick, plug it in your machine, open up that completed program, and you would be done. It is as simple as I just made it look, but if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to one of the TRAK reps and ask them to give you a personal demo on how this works. Well, I'm hoping what you just saw there will make it beneficial to you, and you can see the value of having the DXF converter as well as the offline programming. If you have any questions, as usual, reach out to your local TRAK rep, call one of us here at the home office, and until I see you in the next video, remember as always to keep on tracking.